Welcome back to Apple Cottage. This is Sandy, and I am Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming. Well, today's gardening together is going to be a little bit different. Today is going to be a challenge day. My challenge to you suburban homesteaders and regular homesteaders, do this too if you want to, it'll be fun. If you only had a 10 by 10 garden space and you could only plant 10 vegetables, what would you plant? Now, it's really pretty interesting when people try to figure out how much produce they can get out of a garden. And sometimes it's almost a little intimidating. So I've always found that if you tell them how much you can produce in a 10-foot row, it makes it easier for them. And so I'm going to give you some hints. And what I'd like you to do is ponder it for a little while, and in the comments below, tell me the 10 vegetables that you would grow. Now, these could be vegetables that your family loves, vegetables that you might want to throw in some that you want to try. But I'm going to try to give you a kind of a current list of what they recommend on how many you can get for a 10-foot row. Now, remember, these are just straight rows. So if on your 10 by 10 plot, in that garden section, if you did it intensive gardening, added a lot of companion plants to those 10 vegetables, you would actually produce more on a 10 by 10 plot. If you fenced around it and you let two sides maybe grew cucumbers and peas, those would be extra that wouldn't really be growing in your 10 by 10 space. So you could even get more. But it's really interesting to see how many vegetables can grow in a 10-foot row. Here's some samples. You can get 10 to 15 pounds of carrots from a single row, 7 pounds of broccoli, 10 pounds of beets, 6 to 8 heads of cabbage, 2 dozen ears of corn, 17 pounds of cucumbers. But if you throw those cucumbers on a fence along the outside, don't count those as your 10. 35 heads of garlic, 10 heads of lettuce, even more if you did leaf lettuce, 22 pounds of onions in just a 10-foot row. And that's just a single row of onions. If you did that intensely, you could have onions side by side, 3 or 4 inches apart. And so you could even get more. They estimate 12 pounds of bell peppers. Now, when I do my peppers, I top them. And what that means is they start to grow, they're a foot and a half tall, and I will just whack them off, 5 or 6 inches. I know. Some of the gardeners are going, "What are you doing?" But seriously, peppers, when you top them, it sends out all kinds of side shoots, it stimulates them to flower, and you will get way, way more peppers. When it starts to grow again, top it again. So, just a little trick. Now, they estimate 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-foot row. I say hogwash to that. You can get more than 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-foot row. But there are tricks to do. Always making sure you're hilling it up. Always, if you're not using dirt, use straw or leaves to hill it up. But my main trick with potatoes is I plant them whole. I don't cut them. I plant them whole and I let them chit. And that means that you don't want those whole great big long eyes coming out, but you want short, stubby, purplish green eyes. And the easiest way to do that, I put them in egg cartons, set them where they are getting some sun, and they develop really quickly. And then they're ready to plant. And my feeling has always been, if you give it a good start, a potato, a really good start, lots of nutrients from that whole potato, it will return to you a lot more. And it does. I have trialed it, I've tested it, and every single time, the whole potatoes will win out on the ones that are sliced. Choices. Now, you can get 3 to 5 pounds of radishes. And that doesn't sound very much, but radishes don't weigh very much. And so really that is a lot of radishes. 9 pounds of rutabagas. That would work the same about for the turnips too. 8 pounds of squash, but 15 pounds of pumpkins in the same area. But your biggest winner in a 10-foot row is 45 pounds of tomatoes. And most summers you will get even more than that in a 10-foot row. So it's wintertime still. Here in Wyoming anyway. I know some of you guys down in the south, so much rain, it's craziness, so you can't be in your garden anyway. So just take a piece of graph paper, grid paper, and do a 10 by 10 sheet. I have an email on my About section. And if you want to take a picture or send me a copy of it, send it to my email. And then I'll print those out and I will show everybody the different combinations that people are growing. And I think that can be really interesting and fun. Because gardening together is all about sharing. And there's just so many tricks to do. Like, I like planting onions by my tomatoes, and I also like planting peppers by my tomatoes. But peppers do not like onions. And so you have to do them on one side and the other side. Sometimes I'll take a tomato plant, I'll put the tomato, and on the 4 corners I'll put pepper plants, because pepper plants will get bigger and I can trim the bottom part of the tomato branches off so it can just spread more, and they love touching each other. Now in the meantime, while those are growing, I can have radishes and carrots growing underneath, because those are a root crop versus a crop that's above the ground. And so a lot of times, if a plant that is above the ground is next to a root crop, you can have them much closer together. And so those are just little tricks and tips. So I look forward to, even if you don't want to draw it out, in the comments below, tell me the 10 vegetables you would plant if you only had a 10 by 10 garden. And I think it can be really fun on the combinations that people come up with. So this is Sandy at Apple Cottage. I will have my computer back, I hope sometime this week, so everything has to go on the phone. And I have to edit on the phone. So this is a learning experience for me. But this is Sandy. Have a great day, and I will see you Thursday. Now note, I won't be having a poem a day during the month until I get my computer back, because I edit those with all these different photographs, and I don't know how to do that on my phone. So I will make it up, and I'll just have 2 poems a day for a couple days. So thanks so much, and thanks again for 300 subscribers. I so appreciate it. Oh, that probably made a whole bunch of noise when I did that. But thanks.